Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Macrocast, your source for news and entertainment with the minds behind Macro Records.
Hello, I'm Downlow'd.
I'm Mattson, and we are your hosts. We want to apologize, first off, for missing last week.
I got drunk and passed out.
Download slept till, too late in the evening.
I've still been doing that. I don't know how to... there's just no way to fix it. I took sleeping pills and, I woke up on time, the next day, and that was, one day of success.
Well, it's going to take time.
No,
you can't just fall into
I got drunk. I got fucking piss drunk this last week.
Well, see, and that doesn't help, because when you stay up late partying, your instinct is to sleep in.
It's Kabir. We've had Kabir on the show before, and we went and saw this band that I know from Philly, and I just ended up getting extremely, the drunkest I've been since I was probably in high school.
So now you're living
I don't want to touch
schedule.
alcohol again. No, I mean, it's funny. Yeah, I saw him yesterday, and he was in the middle of the road over there. And I was he was waving and just Kabir. I don't know.
I remember.
I couldn't even I didn't even know who he was until I drove past him. I'd figured it out, so I just hung my horn twice. But I texted him. I was like, "What are you doing?" He was like, "Well, I came to Paul Wall's house, and now we're gonna go to the zoo." So that's what I mean. I thought that was kind of interesting, though. I'd like to go to the zoo at some point. But
I've heard our zoo here has gotten some revitalization.
Has it really?
Yeah.
So maybe it's worth going to check out.
And that would be such a great way to segue into our first topic. But first, we have to talk a little macro news.
Okay.
The two tracks that you're hearing this week, the first one is English Lesson. Before and after the podcast, you'll hear Sunglasses. And they're both the two new tracks off Roberto Aloigi's third EP with us.
He's the best.
So we signed
7?
No, we signed 5 tracks from him, in the first big demo he sent us, and they ended up getting split up into 3 releases, and this is the third one.
Okay, this is the last of the releases. I see. That's sad.
Well, we'll have to get some more content from him.
We're gonna have to hit him up. Release some more Roberto Aloigi. But you should definitely check him out. He makes some really good, minimal techie, deep house stuff.
If you want to know more about that, just go to our website. This is macro.com. All the info is on the homepage. Click it, and it'll take you to his release.
Okay, so back to zoos.
So, since we were talking about zoos, let's talk about...
We have a literal zoo of releases.
How do you say... Are they pronounced Capybaras?
Oh, I don't know.
Or is it
I'm not even going to pretend to act like I know.
Capybara?
Maybe if I write it down, I'll figure it out.
So here's this video is a trip.
It's C-A-P-Y-B-A-R-A, right?
Yes. Correct. That is correct. So, this is some hot springs, I think, in South Korea. And they let these... I don't know if this is their habitat or if they just let them into the hot springs.
It's like there's tennis balls in there.
They're
definitely
fruit?
apples.
Yeah,
definitely
I was going to say it's fruit.
It's like a whole family portrait of capybaras.
And look, they're just chilling, dude. This one guy went under. Oh, God, that water's probably filthy.
It's probably disgusting.
So
but they don't care, though.
Nah.
They like it.
They were probably more filthy when they got in there. They're getting clean.
Well, they probably have all kinds of parasites on them and stuff too, so it's not really they care.
And you can see the steam, so it's pretty hot water. They must be enjoying it.
What are they doing?
They're just chilling.
I can't believe this is cute, but I can't believe it's a topic.
Well, it's not really a topic. I saw this and I was enamored with it.
You have you seen that video or the commercial from Android where they have these these animals playing with each other that you wouldn't really expect? They have a tiger and a dog playing together, and a dog a Labrador and a deer, and then there's a capybara with a kitten riding around on it.
Well, speaking of that, I've seen a video of a sloth who's playing with a cat. And he's eventually at one point the sloth moves over and grabs the cat's head, and a meme was born out of it, and it's the sloth telling the cat, "Shh, no more tears, only dreams."
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, there was also
the sloth looks creepy in that meme.
So what would you imagine having one of these capybaras as a house pet?
I guarantee it happens. This guy has one. Look at it.
So he was feeding him gummy bears. I found that weird. I don't know. I guess it's safe
Capybara
for
is
him.
like a very large rodent.
Yeah, that's what a lot of the comments people are like. Oh, it's just a giant guinea pig, you know, or
Basically.
giant hamster. It's cute.
It is cute. It could bite you though, I'm sure.
I'm sure they can be mean, but this guy in the description he talks about
He
how
looks like surprised by how many gummy bears this thing ate.
he's raised it since birth, so it's pretty close to him. I doubt it would.
It's
hurt
like
him.
nah, yeah. It sees him. It's like as like his mother.
Yeah. But he has a whole website, I'm pretty sure, if you're interested in getting a capybara for your home.
That's
They're
adorable.
cute.
Yeah.
I would
Look
just
at
be
it.
worried about the shits that thing would take.
They're probably not that huge.
Really? Dude, have you ever seen like a Great Dane shit?
That's not nearly the size of a Great Dane, man.
Yeah,
That's
true.
like the size of a small dog, but I don't think
Yeah.
they don't eat. I'm not sure that they eat like that. And like rodent shit is usually like pellets,
True.
and it's very like dry. I don't know. It would probably be like the same thing. Probably be pretty easy to raise a capybara. Like,
He loves
that's kind of
it.
a majestic creature. Look at it.
Yeah. I kind of want one now.
I'm surprised there hasn't been a president with one yet.
A president?
Yeah.
Why, have presidents had strange animals before?
Well, like Franklin Delano Roosevelt had a tiger.
Did he really?
Mm-hmm.
But wasn't he his most famous pet was his dog, no? Wasn't it, what are those things called? Like, another guest on the podcast, Adam Wilsey, his dog is like that. A terrier or something? A Scottish terrier?
Yeah, no, or a Westie or something. I don't know, but I know that he's memorialized with a tiger next to him.
Really?
Yeah, his tiger.
Didn't we see that in House of Cards? We're going to be talking about House of Cards later on in the show. But spoiler alert, there's one scene in the new season where Frank Underwood is at FDR's memorial.
Oh, I'm gonna spoil a lot of stuff.
We'll-
I have some shit to talk
we'll get
about
to
when it
that.
comes to House of Cards.
Yeah, we'll get to that eventually.
I finished the whole season last night, so.
Cool. Let's talk about this. Recently in El Paso, Steve Aoki had a big show, and people paid like $100 or $80 a ticket or something.
Really?
And it got canceled.
So everyone's upset.
Mid-show, it got canceled.
Why?
There was a sewage pipe burst.
Oh,
or something.
no.
Yeah. So the dance floor
Was
of this-
covered in
of-
shit.
Yeah, it was covered in
Oh,
shit.
that's a health hazard.
Yeah, it's disgusting, man.
And that place must have reeked, and there's a bunch of like ravers and girls in those boots just covered in feces, man.
I know that like some sort of riots broke out too. They interviewed people who were like, I don't know why the show can't go on. But the dance floor was...
There's literally shit on the dance floor, dude.
Exactly.
Like, just wait for Steve Aoki to come back. He tours everywhere multiple times per year.
And
so.
they announced it, I think, yesterday. He is for sure coming back soon. So
Of course he's gonna come back. I
Yeah.
mean, you know, he was paid and he didn't play, so he's gotta come back. They'll just take care of the plane flight.
Well,
and the
apparently
hotel.
they moved... They tried to have another show with him that night that was just going to be a free show. It wasn't necessarily a makeup.
Uh-huh.
And I believe it was at 3:01, and it ended up getting like shut down too. Steve Aoki played for like 30 minutes, and then it got shut
Why
down.
did a sewage pipe burst there as well?
No, I don't
Someone
know.
flushing cherry bombs down the toilet or
I
something?
guess I don't. Well, I doubt it was intentional because they've said that the first place Buchanan's has had this problem before.
Ugh.
Yeah,
I've played there.
it's disgusting. I would never. You know,
That's the place where I got hit in the face with a glow stick.
I mean,
I
okay.
got pink eye from that glow stick, by the way.
The
so you
same-
can go figure what happens over there.
Promoters who have shows there, they used to have shows at better places, in my opinion.
It's just that venue's much larger.
Yeah, that's how many people does it hold? Like 5,000 or something.
I couldn't tell you.
Well, more than other venues in the city that are, you know, more of a club style, I guess you could say.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's pretty much all there is with that. I just wanted to it hit close to home
Steve
with us. So.
It literally, yeah. Steve Aoki he almost played to a river of shit.
Yeah.
And people were down with it.
Well, no, I think a lot of people weren't down with it. A lot of people left because the smell was so horrid.
Is this Afro Man?
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about Afroman. This story is freaking crazy. Have you?
Oh yeah,
do you know what's going on?
He was jailed for this. Didn't this happen a while back?
Well, we were going to talk about it last week, but
No, I mean, like I thought this happened months ago.
no. So Afroman was on stage, and you can see this girl comes up on stage, Apparently, the event had a lot of problems because security was really lax or something. Like, they didn't have the proper amount of security, according to Afroman's representatives. What happened? What happened? Let me see if I can find a better video real quick. But yeah, so what happened? Do you know the story fully?
He punched a female fan, that's all I know. So she was probably up on stage acting a fool, and he was like, get the fuck off the stage.
Well, he didn't even have words with her. He was just playing guitar, and then all of a sudden, this chick came up behind him, and he didn't even look. He just went, he swung his arm, like full force, backhanded with a closed fist. And
What was she doing on stage, though? And like, yeah, I mean, maybe, maybe he's got like... You can't just approach someone from behind like that. He was probably like, what the fuck? Like, he didn't expect anyone to be there.
So that's what his rep said. His rep said that the lax security weren't keeping people off the stage like they were supposed to. So that's what caused the problem. I don't know. Here, let's see. If you're just listening on audio and you want to watch on video, go to youtube.com/macrorrecordstv and you can watch with us. Oh, like, it was a vicious hit.
Oh my god, what the fuck? That was like kind of uncalled for. She was just like standing there and he was just like, bam!
Yeah.
Knocked her out. I feel like he's been arrested for this before, though.
No, not Afroman. And that's the thing.
I was looking at celebrity mugshots recently.
For marijuana, maybe.
It was for assault, but...
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I'm surprised by that, because a lot of these articles talk about how this is really out of his character. And now you have a giant pencil. Are you going to write a note with that pencil?
I already have been writing notes with that.
That's pretty comical.
I don't know how you would like even sharpen this thing.
So, let's talk about this. Are you familiar with the computer manufacturer Lenovo?
Yes.
So they recently got into a bunch of shit for installing this adware program on their computers. So like out of the box, if you bought a Lenovo computer, it would automatically have this adware installed on it, which is, it's really fucked up. This is a fucked up business practice. The adware is called Superfish. And recently Lenovo, when the bad press broke out about it, they were forced to recall the computers and like get it taken off, I guess.
Uh-huh.
But it's a really bad business practice, and it kind of disgusts me.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're infecting your customers with viruses.
Well,
right off the bat, even though it's not really a virus, it tracks what you're doing though on the web.
That's the worst part. Is it's not just a virus designed to infect your computer. It's a virus that's designed to watch what you do and like the things you look at on the internet. That way, it can illegally provide that information to Google or companies like that provide those search results that are like, here is something you would like, check this out, or, this is on sale.
Right.
Which, it's not, like you said, it's not necessarily a bad thing.
Well, we've all got that on our computers to some extent.
Well,
it happens.
Cookies do that for you.
Right.
Yeah, but, I mean, in terms of adware, this is like a pretty serious breach of
privacy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, you never really know like who is looking on your computer or whatever. I mean, there are certain things that you can that you can run like via your command line to kind of see, but beyond that, you can't see exactly who's looking or whatever.
Well, and that type of monitoring yourself that way is not something that most normal computer users are capable of.
It's like you would have to know command line prompts and all of that good stuff. So at least a basic understanding of how to use like your terminal or your command line.
Yeah.
So recently I've been using Firefox recently, and I kept receiving this information or this like notification, like this computer is trying to connect to your machine, and it was like freaking me the fuck out. I was like, is someone trying to hack me, or like what the fuck is going on, And so I did some research, and I looked into like I researched the IP and all that good stuff, and it was just an SSDP IP, like so it's just essentially worthless, like. It's just an internet protocol. Like you can use it for like plug and play devices.
It was some sort of packet that kept getting sent to your computer, and your computer was denying it.
Basically, yeah. But I had never seen that before until like the Firefox update. So I talked to a friend of mine, and he was like, "Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal because like if someone was trying to hack you, like you would actually be able to notice it on your computer. Like your computer would be running much slower. I mean, because the way people hack your computer is like use it to mine bitcoins for them." like
Oh, really?
arbitrarily. Yeah, so that way they don't have to. They'll like get a network of a bunch of like hundreds of computers that'll just all mine fractions of bitcoins for them. So it'll slow your computer down significantly. But it happened. Okay, so what happened the other night is I blocked it completely. I was just like, okay, fuck this. Like I can't deal with this notification popping up continuously. And I was running this function in my terminal and to see like who is like what processes are running on the computer or whatever as far as IPs go, and you'll see everything that's going on with your like your web server or
your OS is running things and
well no it's all what's going on the web.
Oh, so you're looking at your wireless protocols and stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. So and you could see I saw this IP popping up even though I had blocked it, and I was like, what the fuck is this? So I called Time Warner and I asked them. I was like, okay, so I've done the research and I can see that this is like a really standard SSDP. It's actually the most common SSDP IP. And she was like, yeah, it's definitely either a computer like in your home trying to communicate with another computer, or it's just worthless. Like it's nothing. But still, I mean, that's an IP from somewhere that like should not really be.
Well, what can happen too is if you were trying to access a website at some point and it got caught on a hang up or something and a packet got lost or diverted, it can get sent through another channel, and then they'll try to force it to your computer because they know you requested it at an earlier time.
At some point,
but it didn't go through, so they'll keep trying to send it through. It could be just something like that,
I mean, but that also no, it's definitely something like that. It's nothing malicious for sure. But you never know is the point, So you have to be very careful when you're surfing the web, and whatever you download and whatever, what ads you click on, all of that shit, because that could definitely install spyware or adware or malware of some kind on your computer. I mean, people say that Macs are impervious to this stuff. That's not true at all.
Well, it's much harder to get some sort of
a big virus.
Yeah.
Most viruses are made for like Windows PCs or for PCs in general.
Well, or they're just there's no part within the OS of Macintosh that's really vulnerable to it,
Right, but you can still get Trojans.
Yeah, you can get.
I mean, I think most of the okay. So here's the thing, guys. What it comes down to is don't open emails that you don't recognize, and don't click links that you don't recognize.
That goes pretty much for everything. If you don't recognize it, you're better off leaving it alone.
Exactly. I mean, but most people get serious viruses on any machine from clicking things on from an email. Like, you have received $20 billion.
I'd like to think that not everyone is that stupid, and some people are just... I really do feel like a lot of people try to install programs. They're like, oh, this program looks cool, I want to install it. But they don't realize that not every company who puts software out there is reputable.
Okay, so here's a perfect example, is CNET.
Yeah. Which is a great site if you're trying to verify some sort of website or application.
But don't download things off CNET.
Why not?
Because there's a lot of fucking nasty stuff on CNET, man.
The problem is...
lots of Trojans.
Well, the problem is you get like advertisements and other stuff that are like, click here to download, and you think that's your download link, and you click that, and then it'll install this thing. It's like, here's the program you need to download and install your application. Those are all bullshit. You never need another program to download an application off the internet.
Well, okay, so I was downloading... I was going to download Little Snitch recently, and when you download that, or I tried to download it off CNET, and Norton caught it immediately twice. It was a Trojan. And it was, I mean, there was only one download option on that page. Oh, actually, there was one that was like blatantly fake. Like it was like a GIF.
That's weird because CNET is a pretty reputable site.
There have been several instances of people saying that they have gotten viruses from CNET. So it's better to go through the actual manufacturer that's trusted, and that's why Apple, or the publisher, correct, and that's why Apple does licenses. Yeah. So you can only download things that are actually signed specifically by these people.
Well, and see,
there are fake signatures though too.
But that's a big problem. Is you have smaller companies who create software that's not really as big of a heavy hitter in the industry, so they don't really follow that protocol. They'll put it out there, or if it's something that was stemmed from an open source file, chances are it's not going to have that license.
Probably not, but you can still. I mean, a lot of the time they are verified though. Like you can reach out to Apple and get yourself verified. So as a producer of these things. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Thanks for joining the Tech Podcast. So now we're going to teach you how to disassemble your computer, take it apart.
And delete System 32. I repeat, delete System 32.
So if you're having problems, just remember Alt F4. It'll get you to safety.
It might pause the podcast indefinitely.
Let's shift gears a little bit. As you can see, here's a picture of a superhero. So in January, a 5th grade girl from Illinois who loves superheroes and DC Comics wrote a heartfelt letter petitioning the company for more representation of female characters.
But there's so many awesome female characters in DC already.
We can talk about this later. She said, "I love your comics, but I would love them a lot more with more if there were more girls."
How old is she?
She's 11.
Yeah, that's
she's in 5th grade, so she's probably like
10.
10. Okay. So DC Comics responded to her on Twitter saying, "Thanks, we agree. We're working hard to create more superheroes fun for girls." And on Friday, she told her story again on national television. Well, not this Friday, but a couple Fridays ago. And at the end, DC Comics thanks her again and presented her with one last token of their appreciation, a drawing of her as a superhero. And that's
cool. And she's Robin?
No, her last name is Rowan.
So her name is Rowan.
I guess.
That's kind of cool. Okay, like I said, DC has a lot of strong female characters, and I think it's great to have more, and like, I mean, you know, God bless this girl for like reaching out and loving DC Comics. I think that's great. But I feel like she's obviously never read Young Justice, and she's obviously never read like a lot of the series. She's just like probably familiar with Batman, or like with one series, you know, where she's like, you know, I wish there was more female superheroes, because what do you have in Batman? There's like Oracle, who used to be Batgirl, the
new Batgirl,
and then there's several Batgirls, and there's Batwoman,
yeah,
and then you have like the villains like Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy, Catwoman.
They have their own comic series right now. It's called
Birds of Prey?
No, Gotham Sirens.
That's cool.
It's focused on Poison Ivy, Catwoman, and Harley Quinn.
Have you read any of that?
No, I haven't.
I'd like to check it out. I think that, I don't know, that's cool though. I'm not going to get into it, but
yeah, it's cool.
I think it's great that she reached out to them, and I think props to DC for being so cool about that. And who knows? Is that superhero actually going to see like the light of day?
No, they just made that for her. It was.
She would probably then somewhere down the line she'd be like, "Well, I need royalties," because at some point that 11-year-old girl or 10-year-old girl is going to grow up to, or in like 3 or 4 very short years, is going to need some money to go out and fucking party. You know what I'm saying? So, DC Comics, where's the fucking paycheck?
That's funny.
I don't know, but yeah, props to them for being so cool about that. And that superhero looked amazing. I mean, as all of theirs do. Yeah. I don't know.
So, you're familiar with Neil Blomkamp, right? We talked about him a couple episodes ago when we watched the Chappie trailer. He's the guy behind District 9.
Yeah,
Chappie.
yeah, and Chappie's got Ninja and
it's got Diane Antwoord in it.
And and Yolandi in it.
Yeah.
I saw another trailer for that. If I can just talk about it really quick, I went and saw The Lazarus Effect.
Oh yeah, go for it.
I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
I already knew that movie was going to suck.
It was so fucking bad. It was like, I mean, but I knew it was going to suck too. Yeah. But one thing that I didn't know is the small budget that movie had. That whole movie was made for $5 million.
Okay.
Which is, but that being said, like the whole movie is filled with like hot air. Like the plot devices are all things that you've seen in other movies. Everything is predictable.
I don't think they need a lot of money to make that movie good, though. They just need the problem.
They
with
need good writing.
Yeah, the problem with horror now is if you try to rely too much on CGI or bullshit like that with horror, it's gonna suck.
But this movie had terrible CGI.
But see, they could have done it without the CGI. I think horror movies, like you said,
are scarier.
They need to focus more on really good storytelling, because
I agree.
Horror movies nowadays, the genre has been bastardized.
I mean, there are still some good ones though. Okay, so this is the same studio that, and they've been famous for they've gotten famous for doing this. Like they did Insidious, and Insidious was made on like $1.5 million and grossed like 80 mil.
Yeah.
And then Insidious 2 was made for $5 mil and grossed like $171 million.
So they're trying like this formula.
Yeah, they like this formula, but from what I understand, Insidious. I mean, obviously, Insidious is good enough to have a third movie. Like, people like those movies enough.
Well, yeah.
I've never watched them myself, but I have heard it's like pretty fucking scary. Like
I've
it's
seen the
well
first
written
one.
and it wasn't very good.
It's all right. I mean, it's
a ghost story.
dude. Horror movies nowadays, man, are just not the same.
I heard that Insidious is one of the better ones though that's come out recently. What I can tell you is the Lazarus Effect is not scary at all. Like okay. So she's like laying down at one point. I was like, okay, she's gonna be sitting up right now. She was, and like then her eyes go completely black, and they kind of like. I mean, spoiler alert, but they kind of like hint at the fact like, oh, she was in hell, but wait, it was a dream, and like it's all over the fucking place. Like there's no real plot at all, and it's the really sad thing is that they have some great actors in that movie. Like Olivia Wilde, I'm not a fan of hers really. She's pretty and nice to look at, but I don't think that she's a fantastic actress. But Donald Glover was really good in it.
Okay.
And there's that other guy from
you know what scares me?
No Safety Guaranteed.
You know what scares me? Even though Donald Glover is cool as fuck. Oh wait. Are we talking about Donald Glover
from Community?
Okay, yeah.
Childish Gambino.
I'm thinking I get Donald Glover and
Danny
Glover
mixed up.
Yeah.
Are they related?
I don't know.
I don't think so. I think that's kind of like fucked up to say that.
Either way, Donald Glover, okay, his music project is cool. He's funny on Community, and he's a funny actor, but the thought of him playing Peter Parker pisses me off.
Wait, what? He's playing Peter Parker?
No. People have suggested it's one of the rumors going about the mill.
No, that can't happen, dude. But also
they're talking about making Peter Parker African American or Hispanic. Yeah.
They can't do that, dude.
They're gonna do it.
Like, why? They are really gonna do that?
I don't know, but you know what? Okay, so here, wait.
His name is Parker.
Let's switch gears real quick, just because.
I'm sorry.
No.
That's not like. I just feel like you need to stay true to the fucking story. Like when you're making this stuff, like I feel like some of these studios try so hard to diversify, and it's all just for money.
So did you hear what Michelle Rodriguez said? There was another rumor going about that they were going to change Hal Jordan to a woman, and it was going to be played by Michelle Rodriguez. Okay, wait. My respect for Michelle Rodriguez went through the roof. Her response was, stop giving these white roles to people of color, because when you're intentionally trying to diversify that way, it ruins everything. Why can't they create new characters that are African American, Hispanic, or all sorts of other diverse
write good storylines for them?
Exactly.
Like,
they don't need to. They don't need to make Peter Parker black or Mexican. B, they don't need to make Hal Jordan a woman or a Latina woman for that matter. Like
they're only trying to do that to get more people in the door and diversify themselves and be like, oh, look at how open-minded they are.
And
like,
at what point
no
does
one
it
thinks
stop?
that way?
Well, and at what point does it stop? Until every single person is not white in all these films? Like, what point is it okay?
And Superman's like, I don't know. I like not
Superman's
even Superman.
from Panama.
Like,
he's like,
hey, he's like Bruce Wayne. Like, Superman's from Thailand.
I mean, my respect for Michelle Rodriguez went up because she hit that right on the head. You guys if you want these diverse characters, create them. Don't steal characters that already exist and try and make them diverse.
I mean, also, what's even more outlandish though is like, don't turn Hal Jordan into a woman. That makes no fucking sense
so
at all.
Dumb.
That's like being
that pisses me off.
That pisses me off too. And it's, I mean, obviously it's
so. But what?
It's about the character, and it's about the about being true to the storylines. That's all that it's about.
Yeah.
I mean, when you lose that, then it's not the same story anymore anyway.
True.
Like, okay, so what? Is Carol Ferris also going to be a woman and they're going to have a lesbian relationship just so that they can appeal to the gay crowds?
No, Carol Ferris is going to become Carl Ferris.
Jesus
He's going to become a man.
And then how does the Star Sapphire thing work? They're all women. That doesn't make any fucking sense at all.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So, okay, back to Neil Blomkamp.
How could DC even agree to this at all?
We have more talk about this, but let's go back to Neil Blomkamp.
What the fuck?
He's signed on with 20th Century Fox to develop a new Alien movie, and they're all
like from the series Aliens.
Yeah, and Sigourney Weaver could possibly be in this one.
That's not necessary. Let's leave her out
That's
of it.
not. She was great in the first Alien, man. Come on.
She's now also like 65 years old.
That's okay. Okay. Well,
Oh,
the
like-
main story behind this is that although the other people are developing Prometheus 2, which Prometheus is kind of
It's the prequel.
It's the prequel to Alien, to the
Right.
first Alien. But he's talking about creating an Alien movie that disregards Alien 3 and takes place after Alien 2. I'm pretty sure I'm getting that right.
I feel like Hollywood is high. Like they're all like why are you doing that? Like it just doesn't make any fucking I mean Alien 3 I think was probably the least I don't know. It was definitely the worst movie out of all of them. Then you have Alien versus Predator, and then there's like those other
I
ones.
liked Alien versus Predator.
But those are like not the same as Alien.
No,
and
not
Alien,
even close.
And Aliens.
Alien versus Predator. That whole series was more of.
It was just action packed, and it was a
Exactly.
popcorn movie.
Which is cool because I enjoyed those movies for what they were.
I mean, Alien versus Predator was good enough to have a second movie made, AVP2.
which wasn't as good.
It was they were yeah, it wasn't as good, but they were both like pop.
What
they were
about
popcorn
Predators
flicks.
with Adrian Brody? Did you ever see that one?
I heard that was okay.
Yeah. Okay.
It wasn't very good.
I mean, honestly,
I haven't watched it.
what are your thoughts on Prometheus, though, the first one?
I didn't finish it. It was too long. But
Really?
I want to watch it because I know like I was looking up the lore and the lore is really deep and like it's a
thoroughly
well-made movie.
enjoyed
It's
it.
Ridley Scott, right?
Yeah. And Ridley Scott is also going to be behind this as well. This new Alien movie.
Really?
He's going to be producing both.
Okay, but he's directing Prometheus too.
Is he? Yeah,
I
okay.
think so.
And that's why they chose Blomkamp to direct this. Which he's a great director, man.
And
I think he'll
what
do
else
good
did he
things.
direct? Remind me again.
District 9, Chappie,
yeah.
Elysium, which
Yeah,
was
it
like
could-
his
it could be good.
brainchild. Did you ever see Elysium?
With Matt Damon?
Yeah.
No, I never saw it.
Okay, so the big thing about Blomkamp is he
likes sci-fi.
likes using real world issues like mirrored in his universes that he creates. Elysium, I mean, that movie is so mediocre it's not even funny, but I still enjoyed that movie for what it was. The concept was solid, and I feel like if he admitted to it a week ago, he said, "I fucked that movie up." I mean, it could have been better.
He's like, yeah, sorry, Hollywood gave me 150 mil for that movie.
I doubt Elysium cost 150
It
million.
was definitely at least 100 mil.
You think? Elysium. We're talking about the same movie, right?
I mean, you have to pay Matt Damon and
Yeah, but that's marketing is
Okay,
what costs so much for these movies.
okay, I'm gonna
nowadays.
say 60 million at least.
Okay. Yeah, I think in that ballpark. You might be right. It might be.
I think it was $100 million to be honest, but I don't know.
It cost 30 mil. Oh no, wait. District 9 cost 30 mil. Elysium cost between 90 and 115.
Yeah. I mean, okay, wait. So District 9 was produced by Peter Jackson, wasn't it?
Really?
Yeah.
But that was also Blomkamp's brainchild. I'm
Really?
pretty sure. Yeah.
Well, I'm excited to see Chappie.
Me too.
That
It
looks really good. And Sigourney Weaver's in that. And she's like telling, what's his name? Hugh Jackman. She's like, destroy that robot. It's like, I feel like I've seen that fucking movie before. It's like Wall-E, but, or not
It's like
WALL-E, but,
iRobot and Wall-E meet each other.
right. And they're like, but, was iRobot, was there a robot with like, that, there was a robot in that was like a human being, right? In iRobot.
No, okay. He was the only robot created that had emotions.
Right, and that's what
Yeah.
Chappie is.
Yeah.
And Chappie's like a police robot, but he's like, I am human. I am Chappie.
I feel like iRobot didn't get great reviews either, but I
It was
enjoyed
good.
that movie.
No, I enjoyed that movie enough to buy it. Like a lot.
I also own that movie. I still
good.
own it. It's at my home.
So there's a new Will Smith movie out too right now that I have no idea even existed. Did you
So
know? Did you hear
it's
anything
with
about that?
Will Smith. It's called Focus, and it's with Will Smith and Margot Robbie, who are both going to be in Suicide Squad.
Okay, and what's it about?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know. I don't really care because I've seen the trailers and I'm like, oh, I'm not.
I mean,
gonna
I
see
think that
this.
it would be kind of interesting to go watch that just to kind of get a feel for what their like on-screen chemistry's like.
True.
You know.
But I also don't think it's fair to assume that whatever you see in that movie is what you're going to get with Suicide Squad.
Okay, well, with Suicide Squad, if they're going to have Harley Quinn in it, I feel like they're going to be following Assault on Arkham storyline.
Which is cool, but
I feel like
Deadshot and-
Deadshot and Harley Quinn are probably going to bang.
yeah, okay.
There's gonna be a moment. I mean, Hollywood loves those steamy moments, you know.
I'm really, really excited to see how Jared Leto as the Joker turns out.
The Joker, my one criticism about Assault on Arkham is that the Joker wasn't as flushed out as he normally is. Like, he was kind of just like he was the villain, but it was like an ancillary kind of thing. He wasn't like overseeing the whole thing and as manipulative as usual.
Batman Under the Red Hood, the animated.
That's about Red Hood, right?
Well, it's about Jason Todd as Red Hood. That movie is fucking phenomenal. And the only part of it that bothered me, and it really makes me sad to say this because John DiMaggio is a fucking great voice actor, but no one should allow him to play the Joker.
Who is that guy?
The voice of Bender. And he's also on Adventure Time.
Oh, yeah.
He's a great voice actor, but they gave him the wrong role. I was so confused because I mean, okay, to give him credit, he does make the Joker kind of his own thing. Like, it's a combination between Hamill's Joker and Ledger's Joker in a weird way. But the voice kind of...
It turned you off.
It didn't turn me off, it just bothered me a little bit. But... the rest of that movie is fucking phenomenal. The writing, everything about it is A+.
Red Hood is the villain?
Well, he's
an anti-hero, basically, but he's a villain in some of the stories, too.
Well,
so.
the Red Hood was originally the Joker's villain, you know? Like, the Joker created the first Red Hood.
Really? But I thought that his whole like, MO was to stop Batman.
The Red Hood?
Yeah.
Well,
he uses guns, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. His whole MO initially was to be the one superhero in Gotham and make Batman obsolete.
Yeah.
And then eventually I think Batman and him teamed up. And
which
like
is how
this
movie kind of goes down because when he figures out the Red Hood is Jason Todd, he thought he had died. You know, the Joker supposedly killed him.
Right, and that was in Death in the Family or Death of the Family.
Yeah, but for the sake of this animated feature, it's all one movie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
they cram it all into. All right.
Is
Oracle in it?
No, Black Mask is fucking awesome in it. Like,
so how many villains are in this?
Not much. There's Black Mask, the Red Hood, and then have you heard of these people? The Fearsome Hand of Four?
No.
They are fucking sick, dude. They're ninjas with cybernetics, I want to say. I don't know. They're awesome, though.
That's cool.
And there's a big fight between Batman and the Red Hood versus the Fearsome Hand of Four.
Did you ever see Mask of the Phantasm? That Batman movie?
Yes, I know which one you're talking about.
It's like these kind of like obsolete Batman villains, or not? I mean, obsolete, but they're lesser known Batman villains are funny. Like, and now we're going to. I feel like, see, that's my worry with Arkham Knight is that it's just going to be like a one-off Batman villain.
Well, you know, apparently the main villain in Arkham Knight is Scarecrow.
Oh, really?
It's not Arkham Knight.
Oh, really?
He's
okay.
an ancillary villain, I guess.
That's kind of cool. You read Court of Owls though, didn't you?
Yes.
And
hold on, I wanted to talk about this. And under the Red Hood, there was also a Lazarus Pit.
Oh, really?
That's what brings Todd back to life.
And so he's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he sorts through it.
Well, I mean, of course, he's a hero, and like in the DC comics, or like in the comics in general, heroes have to persevere through all of that hardship, and like the villains kind of succumb to it and just go nuts.
I also watched Son of Batman.
I saw that too. Oh wait, that's the new one?
It's the one that's going to be the prelude to this new one that comes out.
Oh,
Batman
I've seen
versus Robin.
Yeah, I've seen Son of Batman.
It's with Damian Wayne.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
What did you think?
It was okay.
I thought it was just okay.
Best parts, definitely Deathstroke. Damian Wayne is kind of annoying, but
Damian's totally annoying. I mean, but he's, you know, he grew on me after a while. It's just like the whole like Batman training him and being like, no, you have to, like, you're not an assassin anymore. You're Robin, like, you know, kind of like, it's like, okay,
he's like, you're my son.
You're my son. But
like,
yeah.
No!
So what did you think of Talon?
Oh, okay, yeah. So I read the whole first volume of the New 52 Batman, which is the Court of Owls. It is really fucking good.
Yeah, it's reviewed as one of the best, like one of the top storylines.
And I was telling you before, I would totally be reading Volume 2, which is City of Owls right now. It's just expensive. So I gotta pace myself. That way I don't end up spending like $500 in comics in the course of 2 weeks or something, you know?
Right.
It could be bad.
It can easily go that way, and especially with the accessibility online.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people have wanted to see a Court of Owls movie.
Well, the Batman versus Robin animated feature, which is it's going to be a movie. It's like an hour and 20 minutes. Comes out next month, April.
And is that does that have to do with Court of Owls?
Yeah, it's Damian. It's a combination between the New 52 Batman and Robin and the Court of Owls storyline, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
So it also includes Batman and Robin with the Court of Owls. Because I know there's a separate comic book series that's New 52 that's Batman and Robin, about him and Damian.
Right.
I'm pretty sure Court of Owls does not take place in that series.
I don't know. I think a lot of these series, like, they kind of coincide in weird ways, like, you know, but so maybe it does, but not in the way that you would think it does, if that makes sense. Like, It's not a direct storyline. They'd be like, and now this like one part is continued in Batman and Robin number 42, and then it goes right back to like this other, like, you know.
Yeah.
So the only reason that they do that is to get you reading these other series. It's like cross promotion.
I also read the prologue to Blackest Night.
Uh-huh.
Which was just the...
You can't... How did you... Wait, you read that without reading any of the other GL stuff?
Okay, so I know the series you have is what's supposed to... All the events that take place up to Blackest Night.
All of the big stuff in the DC universe happens in GL.
But I just read... All I read was one issue, and it was the prologue for Blackest Night, and it was about William Hand.
Yeah, he's Black Hand.
Yeah, and it was pretty good. I also read the first issue of Justice League Dark.
Oh, don't tell me anything about that. I want to read that.
It's really good. I'll tell you.
All of that stuff.
Really
all of that stuff is good. All of their comics are fucking great. Like, I mean, I kind of got tired of reading Young Justice just because I've been reading so much of it. But it's still good. Like, the
only thing that puts me off about that is I'm not a huge fan of reading adaptation comic books. You know that.
What do you mean?
Because that Young Justice series you're reading is all an adaptation of the show.
No, it's not.
It's based off the show.
No, it's not. There's two different Young Justices.
There's different storylines.
No, there's one that's, I'm sorry, dude. There's one that's an adaptation of the show, and there's one that the show was based on.
Oh, okay.
And that's what I'm reading right now. Then I'm going to read the adaptation of the show. But the reason that you saw that is because you didn't see the archived books. I've read like through.
I looked through all your.
Okay, well then
catalog.
Okay, well then if you saw the archived books, then you would see that those are the old Young Justices. Like, for instance, in the TV show, like, and the comics, like, none of the characters they don't really coincide. Like Spirit and Empress and
I know exactly what
Arrowette.
you're talking about, but I was talking specifically about the ones you have that are adaptations from the show.
I haven't even read those yet.
Yeah, reading something like that just puts me off. I don't want to read that.
I mean, I don't even know. I don't even know if it's going to really be an adaptation or a continuation of the show.
Well,
I'm not sure.
If Volume 4 is Invasion. So I'm pretty sure it's based off the second season of Young Justice, and Volume 1 is based off the first season, and those two volumes in between are something else, like other storylines.
I'll have to let you guys know about that once I actually do get to tear into that. I'm just like, the difficult thing for me is reading the old Young Justices, and they're characters that I can't really relate to because I've never seen them before, and they are really like one-off characters. Like, for instance, right now they're all going to war in some fucking country because Empress's father was killed, and Impulse is a member of this group, which is cool. But
Impulse is fucking awesome.
He was in Young Justice, but for a really short period of time, like in the TV
last
show,
half of the second season.
And he's one of the main characters in
awesome.
the original Young Justice. Yeah, he eats he's crazy. I don't know. He eats a ton of food, but
and
Robin, of course,
he's got the charisma of both Barry and Wally combined.
I think he's like related to them.
He is,
but from like 100 years down the line. Yeah,
no, more than that, man.
Yeah,
a couple hundred years.
He somehow comes back in time. And he's got a spaceship, and so also there's Lil Lobo in this Young Justice that I've been reading, and I don't know. They do a pretty good job of fleshing him out, but it kind of does piss me off because Lobo is like, should not be a member of Young Justice, in my opinion. I don't even see him as a hero. Like, I see him as an anti-hero. And that's just my 2 cents on that whole ordeal.
I really want to read the New 52 Teen Titans. Have you seen any of that? It's with Red Robin, who is...
and Raven. And
Red Robin is, what's his name? Tim Drake. Tim Drake is Red Robin because Damian is now Robin and Dick is still Nightwing. They don't say what happened to Jason Todd in that universe. I don't think he exists in the New 52.
I think he's Red Hood.
But then he hasn't... I don't think he's come out yet. Because that Red Hood storyline is based off older comics.
Really?
Or not older, but pre-New 52.
I think that that Red Hood exists in the New 52. It's just he doesn't play as big of a part. I don't know. I can't really tell you. I don't know. I'm talking out of my ass if I'm saying anything right here. But he probably exists. I mean, isn't Batgirl in the New 52? She's like an assassin too, and she's I don't know. And she's like deaf.
There's a whole Batgirl series too that people really love.
Or she's mute or something. I don't know.
Oh.
Something like that. I don't know. But there's just so much. There's so much to look into
from the other camp. There's a couple things from the other camp that I want to read too.
From Marvel?
Yes.
What you were talking about? You like the Hawkeye cover with the
new Hawkeye, which comes out in a couple days, I think. The first issue. I'll read that. That interests me. Hawkeye is one of my favorite Marvel characters. So
why?
He's badass. I miss the old Hawkeye with like. He has like that crown, and he's just a badass archer too, which makes him, he's like Marvel's version of Green Arrow. I really like Hawkeye.
Okay.
And you don't.
Well, I just don't see like the appeal in Hawkeye or Black Widow. I don't.
Yeah, I mean,
I think they're just like,
understand.
okay, they work for the government. That's cool.
Also,
but they don't have like any The problem for me with Marvel is that they don't. I explained this to you in the chat a while back, and I was reading about Marvel versus DC. Marvel has extremely adamant fans, and that's cool. But Marvel fans, I feel, tend to talk more shit about DC than DC fans do about Marvel, because DC fans love comics, and Marvel fans are more into the cinematic universe. A lot of them have been brought into this through the cinematic universe to some extent, and. So that's just what it is. But the Marvel comics are more about people trying to be heroes, as opposed to the DC comics are about heroes trying to be people.
And which makes their stories more visceral and real.
Marvel comics.
No.
The DC comics?
Yeah.
In terms of the heroes?
Yeah. I feel like the events of DC comics are more likely to happen in real life than the events of Marvel comics.
Well, a lot of the readers will agree that the DC comics are much better written than the Marvel comics are. The storylines are all much better. Like, when
there's
you read
very few select series that are okay in Marvel.
No. There are a few that are really great.
Yeah.
But they're few and far between, whereas when you read through the DC comics, you really you're unlikely to be disappointed wherever you go. There are a few, of course, they have a few duds, but Marvel I would look at it like Marvel has a lot of duds and some diamonds in the rough, where DC has a lot of gold and some diamonds and like a couple duds, And
the last series that I wanted to talk about before we just get off of actual comic books is Spider-Gwen, which just started its first issue. The whole premise of it is that instead of Peter Parker getting bit by the spider...
It's fucking Gwen Stacy.
Yeah. People love this shit, man. It's being praised as the best Marvel comic out there right now.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I think that these Marvel comics people are the people that are totally like propagating why don't we make Peter Parker into Gwen Stacy?
Apparently, Peter Parker in the series is going to be the villain.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
It's kind of cool,
but
man.
Spider-Man has been so fucked up as far as the comics goes for a while. Like, Spider-Man is no longer Spider-Man. It's fucking Doc Ock and Green Goblin inside of Peter's head with a little bit of Peter's consciousness, which Peter's consciousness has to, fight to take over. And
that's why this reboot of the Marvel comics is actually good.
It's necessary.
Yeah.
But Marvel has fucked everything up as far as the comics go so many times.
I agree.
Where DC, that's why DC has, the multiverse, and I don't know, they bring everything together, like the New 52 and the Old 52. It's like they can make everything work like that. There's a lot of cohesiveness to that, and I appreciate that.
Me too.
And it makes it very comfortable for someone who doesn't read comics to go in and start reading somewhere.
Yeah, I agree.
In my opinion, that's just, anyway. So I watched this recently. I
thought it was gonna get taken down.
Is this the uncensored version?
I don't know. This is the Power Rangers. What do they call it? It's like a fan film.
Yeah.
Created by, what's his name? Sean Key.
I don't know, but there's what's his name? James Vanderbeek is in this?
Yeah.
He's really good in this.
Okay, so Lionsgate says they hate it.
What? Is Lionsgate going to make an actual Power Rangers movie?
They have before.
When two empires
I mean, I feel like this is the way Power Rangers needs to be now. It can't be like cheesy and just. Of course, they're gonna want it to be for kids because they want to make the kid money. You know, they want to make the Disney money.
Yeah, and I mean,
But nothing. It doesn't all have to be that way. Like they could make an awesome reboot. Look at this. Like, come on, this is totally unexpected as far as Power Rangers goes for me.
Okay, so the guy who made this, his name is Adi Shankar, and he's behind The Grey with Liam Neeson, the newest Judge Dredd reboot,
Which I actually really liked.
I loved it.
And this. Look at how cool this looks. Like, if this was a full-on movie, I feel my one criticism of this is that it wasn't a full-on movie because, like,
Do you think if it was though, they'd have enough story to tell?
yeah, I feel like the problem is that they have too much story to tell, and it kind of makes the acting a little bit cheesy.
Okay.
And there's like right here, like I don't really like her either. I don't know who she is. Like she's not. They needed like a leading lady in that part. And
a
then
lot of the people who played Power Rangers previously came out saying they thought it was cool.
Yeah.
The Yellow Ranger, her only complaint was that she wasn't in it.
The Black Ranger was dope.
The guy who plays the main guy who played whatever the White Ranger or the Green Ranger, he was the only one who said he didn't like it.
Why?
And everyone was like, he's just trying to kiss up to Lionsgate because he wants to be in the next one, but he's too fucking old.
Yeah.
I don't know.
James Vanderbeek is badass in this, man. If you can fast forward, I want everyone to see Rita Repulsa.
How far should I go?
To the very end.
Oh, to the very
Well,
end.
actually, wait. Play the. Oh, you should play from right there because that scene is fucking dope.
Well, this is 15 minutes long, so we're not going to be watching
No.
all this.
But this is just watch some of this fighting right here and you know, obviously we're not gonna have time to watch the whole thing, but like, look, I mean, it's morphin time. Fuck yes, bam! Like, how badass is that, dude? Like, this is what I'm talking about. If I see a Power Rangers reboot, I want to see something like this. And he's like, it's kind of typical. Like this guy just like points at him or whatever.
Once again, we apologize if you're
cliche.
listening on audio, but please go to youtube.com/macrorecordstv to watch with us on video.
Like, watch him take out all of these guys. Fucking bam. Just like, you know, this is dope. And he kills a lot of these guys. And look at this. The ricochets off of his helmet. That's so fucking well thought out and badass. Like, this is a Power Rangers movie made for action fans.
Yeah.
And
which is cool, because
look
a
at
lot
that.
of Power Rangers fans are grown up now.
Yeah, and I mean, why would you make a Power Rangers movie that's... And yeah, dude, come on. He kills his own, like, his own man.
Because kids still love Power Rangers, too, you know?
Yeah, well, and I think that's why Lionsgate hates it, because they're like, whoa, I mean, here, we can fast forward to
the new generation of kids is also interested in Power Rangers. That's the problem.
I mean,
but they're stupid.
They're kids, man, and I mean, no adults are really gonna. This would make. I would spend money watching this. This could become an epic series of Power Ranger movies.
Yeah.
You know, and totally revamp the genre, because I always thought that Power Rangers was, for what it's worth, like, it was good, but it was just really fucking low budget. That's how I felt. All right, so this is Kimberly, right?
Who are you?
The Pink Ranger.
No. You're not. I know Kimberly and my
I'd like to see more of this.
Yeah, I think a lot of people on the internet are in consensus with you.
Rita Repulsa looks fucking stupid, though. This was cool.
Stab. Drown. Sleep. Shoot. Don't you remember me, darling? The one who turned you into a ranger in the first place. I killed them all. Another world.
It looks good.
So silly. Like,
It's cool, though.
Yeah, it was alright. I just feel like Rita Repulsa should be, like, way more hardcore, and it looked like some fat Asian lady in, like, a fucking...
I liked it.
It looked dumb
It
to
looked
me.
really, like, really grounded in the original Rita Repulsa.
But Rita Repulsa is a character that's not grounded, so they should have just gone for, like... they should have just gone for, like, all CGI and made her totally, like, demonic or something. Like, she didn't look... She looked like a It looked like a Halloween costume to me, man.
Okay.
So I feel like that's the one thing that they could have done a little bit better.
Yeah.
But, okay. Back to DC. Cinematic this time.
Unite the Seven. So we've got this poster for Aquaman now.
He looks fucking dope.
He looks really badass. So the main thing that people are taking from this is that we might be seeing a Throne of Atlantis type storyline in Batman vs. Superman, which is going to force Batman and Superman to work together to stop Aquaman.
I just think that there's a lot of people are thinking that Batman versus Superman means that Batman's going to be fighting Superman. I don't think that's the case. Like, if anything, it might be for like 15 minutes in the very beginning where we see like they kind of butt heads and like, you remember? Okay, so we saw Green Arrow go against Green Arrow versus Flash on the TV show, right?
Yeah.
And that was because Flash was corrupted or something had happened with his mind, right?
But I feel like what's going to happen here is it's like you said, it's probably going to be 15 to 20 minutes of the first part of the movie that's going to be focused on their rivalry or them butting heads. I think it's probably going to be focused around, Superman's origin and his, Batman probably doesn't see him as a hero because he thinks he's, an alien who's probably scheming to take over the world or something.
I mean, it can only be like that for a short period of time, though.
But I do feel that it's a solid idea to think that Aquaman coming up from Atlantis to try and take over the land world could bring them together.
Maybe. I think it could also be like, why does Lex Luthor even exist in this movie?
Good
Like Lex
question.
Luthor and Mercy is in this movie too. Like, why?
Maybe they're going for the storyline where like Lex Luthor becomes president. Who knows?
I mean, that would be ideal. That would be
Yeah.
cool. And that maybe that'll bring them all together. I think that Unite the Seven has to do with him uniting, like bringing together all of the Justice League, like the very beginning.
You really think that?
Because I think they're going to see.
That's
And then
like
also
an ancillary theory, though, because a lot of people don't believe a lot of people believe the obvious, that he's talking about the Seven Seas. But people on
don't
Reddit
know.
have said that it's most likely they're referring to the Justice League.
Yeah,
members.
dude, they've got too much planned in this. Why would he be talking about the seven fucking seas?
Does it bother
that'll
you,
probably
though?
be like a part of it, but
Yeah. Well, does it bother you that Cyborg is going to be one? Because in the new Justice League series, the New 52, Cyborg is one of the first seven instead of Hawkman or Hawkgirl. Who is it?
well, Martian Manhunter.
Martian Manhunter too, man.
I think that Martian Manhunter is too much of a wild card for them to actually play on, though, and that sucks because I love Jon Jones.
Yeah.
But it's okay. I think as long as they do Cyborg justice, I think what we'll see in Batman versus Superman is a lot of the beginnings of these characters.
Yeah.
And I don't think that we're going to see them all come together necessarily as the Justice League quite yet, but I don't know. That's what they're throwing out there. I'm hoping that Ezra Miller does a good job as the Flash. I mean,
I'll save my judgments on that till I actually see it. We got a ways to go before we actually do. But so what? The one critical piece that's missing from this, considering we have Wonder Woman, we have Batman, we have Superman, we have Cyborg, we have who are the other heroes?
Green Lantern.
No, okay. So Green Lantern is the one person we haven't officially seen cast yet.
Right, but he's going to be in this movie, I think.
He has to be.
Well, if they're not
you're
going to have
talking
fucking
about
Martian Manhunter, you have to have fucking Green Lantern.
Well, and of course, and if you're talking Unite the Seven, seven Justice League original members, Green Lantern has to be there.
Yeah.
So the question is, who's going to play Green Lantern? Rumors are pointing to this guy. I feel like he's kind of got the right look for
yeah,
it.
he looks good. I don't know who the fuck he is.
His
though.
name is Dan Ambroyer.
Amboyer. But so what's his deal?
Let me see. Let me check his IMDb.
Is he? And it has to be Hal Jordan.
Oh, whoa! He already has a credit for Batman versus Superman. What?
Who's he playing?
Oh, okay. This was the speculation. He does have a credit that says Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice drone pilot, but a lot of people have
Hal Jordan.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying this is an allusion to that. We're going to see Hal Jordan in this, and he's going to.
I
be
mean,
him.
that's cool. We're not going to see a Green Lantern movie until 2020, though.
But then why haven't they announced this casting? Like, why are they not saying we have our Green Lantern?
Because they probably don't want to say, "Oh, he's Hal Jordan." They just want to say he's a drone pilot,
drone
and
pilot.
we'll see how it plays out and what the fan responses are.
I'm cool with that.
And we'll go from there. He looks a lot like the guy from House of Cards that plays. He plays Grayson. What's his name? Sam.
Seth
Grayson. Yeah.
Really?
I think someone a lot of people are saying that Seth Grayson, or the guy who played him, looks like a Oh man, I don't remember. He a mixture of two other actors, like Benedict Cumberbatch and some other guy or some shit. I don't know.
I could see that, but like
He was good though. I thought that he was really good.
He's a good actor, but I don't really think he looks like any of those people.
I don't think so. I don't think so either. I'm probably fucking it up. Like I don't know, but I read something on Reddit. I shouldn't even mention what I read on Reddit on this podcast. All right, Daredevil. This is something I'm excited to see. Actually, this is some Marvel stuff I'm really stoked to see.
Were you surprised to hear how soon we're going to get this first season? In April.
No, I wasn't surprised. I've known this for a while.
I was surprised to hear that. I expected this series maybe next year.
No, I think they said that it would be April, like back in November.
Did we talk about that? Because
I don't think we talked about it.
Okay,
but
okay.
It was supposed to actually even have a sooner date, I think, and they bumped it back a little bit.
Dude, I was totally unexpected. Like, I was not expecting that. So I'm excited. Next month we're gonna get to watch Daredevil, the whole first season.
In a month and a half, yeah. But yeah, you're right. Wait, fuck. Today is March 1st.
Today is March 1st.
Tomorrow, You'll be listening to this on March 2nd. But yeah, so next month, and that's cool too because House of Cards, like we've already all devoured it. Everyone,
I watched the whole third season in less than 24 hours after it was available.
Really?
Yeah.
I watched it over the course of 2 days. But that's because I was doing shit, and I got to watch it. What did you think of the third season of House of Cards?
Wait, we have other.
I just don't want to. I don't want to like.
Okay, yeah.
I don't want to like jump over that because this is all still very fresh for me. I just finished it this morning. There's a lot of criticism about the third season.
Would you like to hear my criticisms?
Sure,
because I have quite a few. Okay, so my main problem.
Wait, before you jump in, did you like it or not?
I enjoyed it.
Okay,
I enjoyed it from start to finish as a binge watching experience. It was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But I mean, I have quite a few complaints about this season that I never had about the past two.
Me too.
Mainly, a lot of the magic that seemed to be behind seasons 1 and 2 is
gone,
noticeably absent.
So
there.
like you're talking about the fact that they were two pragmatic like a sociopathic couple that would stop at nothing to get where they needed to be, and this season was more like a soap opera style thing, like revenge.
My biggest problem is speaking to that is the character development behind Claire pisses me off.
Oh, I hate her now.
Because if we take a look at Claire where season 2 ended, I mean obviously she was on the path to growing a conscience, but I still felt like she was that ruthless pragmatist that we've seen
and that we love.
I thought that was gonna rule over everything for her. I never thought we would see her get this emotional, this
quickly.
Okay, fair warning, spoilers for season 3 of House of Cards. When she lost it, or when she's talking to him in the Oval Office, and she's like, the problem is there's only one chair. There's only one chair in the
She always fucking knew that.
She knew that.
And she's married him for 30 fucking years. Like, and people are like, I've read some things I was looking at the House of Cards subreddit, and some people were like, well, she didn't know. She's having a change of heart. You're not married to somebody for 30 fucking years and you don't know who they are.
They've been married for 30 years. She's had multiple abortions just so they don't have to have kids, and they've been ruthless up until now.
Right.
I mean, only at the end of season 2 did this really start to affect her. But even then, it was very little, and I felt like she bounced back, and she was ready. At the beginning of season 3, she was ready to help Francis work through it, and eventually her take the White House in 20 years.
That's what they were. Well, they were supposed to be. The Underwoods were supposed to create a legacy in the White House for 16 years.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing. Like, what the fuck happened there? And at the very end, she's like, "I'm leaving." Why the fuck did they even renew their vows? That makes no sense to me.
And Frank was like, you want to see me take control? Here's me taking control. You'll go get dressed and you'll be like...
I have to give it to Spacey. He was awesome in this season, too. I liked him a lot. He was very good.
And I felt like they had the right balance of him breaking the fourth wall in this season, because it didn't happen too much, but when it did happen, it was fucking amazing. When he looks at the camera
and
he's
fuck
like...
yourself.
Or no, he looks at the camera and he's like, what are you looking at?
Yeah.
Like, talking to the audience.
That was awesome.
Like, oh shit.
And that other one was like, Christ, that felt good. When he tells Dunbar to fuck off. A lot of people complain that there was no significant villain in this season. Like, Tusk was one in the last one, and then the first one there was a... I don't remember who the one was.
My problem was that there was a villain, but who was too half fleshed out. When you
Petrov?
When you look at Petrov, I felt like that was just filler. Like they were onto something with him, but it was just filler. It was just to keep us happy until the election
Okay,
started,
so wait,
you know?
I sent you my thoughts on this via Facebook when I
Yeah.
like actually. Okay, so Petrov, I think if they're smart, if the writers from this season are smart and like they've thought all this over, you know. If not, then maybe they got confused and they just didn't know what else to write, and that's why this whole thing with Claire happened. But I think Petrov was foreshadowing, and they treat. For instance, a lot of people have alluded to the fact that Doug is the dragon and Frank is like the top boss, and like in the sense of a kung fu movie.
Yeah.
Like Doug will stop at nothing to make sure that his higher up succeeds. And I feel like Meacham kind of took that post. Like Meacham is very loyal, you know.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's a lot of foreshadowing. If they're smart, they'll do this. There's a lot of foreshadowing between Petrov and Frank. Petrov outwitted Frank a few times during the very beginning of the season. He says, you know, I have an edge because I'm divorced. You know, I've got a political edge because I'm divorced. He also tells him to get rid of his wife. It makes him weaker.
One of my favorite parts about this season was there was a lot of funny parts, and I was pleasantly surprised by like the scenes with Petrov visiting the White House and the party that ensued. It was comical, and I actually laughed a few times. Like when Claire is playing fucking beer pong with Kathy, I'm like, this is ridiculous.
She's trying to like build rapport with
Yeah,
Kathy.
of course. She had that up. She had the drive then. Still, I just don't know what happened to her.
So the like I said, the writers either got really lazy and they didn't know which way to take it, or they're building up to something. And what I would like to see is, okay, Claire does the same thing as before. She takes off for like 4 episodes maybe in the next season, like maybe a little bit longer than last time.
Yeah.
And then she comes back and they're going to be a fucking powerhouse again. And like I would like to see
At this
Underwood dominate, or Claire doesn't come back at all and
Yeah.
Underwood still dominates. But I want Underwood to dominate. Like I don't like seeing. I'm not even gonna give the next season really a chance if it's all about his downfall. And like it ends with him like in the fucking gutter or some shit.
Yeah.
I want to see him fucking like he's the guy that you love to hate.
Yeah,
Like-
I want to see him succeed too. In reference to the foreshadowing that you're talking about, there was another big one that people were really pointing out. The scene with Frank where he coughs, he's giving a presidential address.
Lung cancer.
And he gets the cough. And then immediately the next scene is
The doctor.
the doctor, and he's looking at a lung biopsy. And so they're definitely alluding to the fact that Frank is probably going to have lung cancer.
Yeah, he might get sick or something. But that could be his downfall. But I still want him to win the fucking presidency. Like I still want him to beat that bitch Dunbar.
Yeah.
Like even though
okay.
she deserves it so much. Like she would be a great president. You know,
I guess.
No, when I'm watching that, I'm like, she's got pretty much everything right. Like she wants to get rid of all of the nasty shit that's going on in the White House, but Frank makes the hard decisions.
Yeah.
And the fact is, no one else really understands the shit that he has to go through, like the decisions that he has to make. And I even feel like at some points, like he just doesn't even put that much thought into it, but he has to do it. Like
I think he does because he's saying he says it a lot. He's like, I'm not trying to. Even though he was secretly hiding the fact that he was going to run for election, he was like, I'm going to govern. I'm not going to be a placeholder president. I'm going to govern, you know? He
wants to
make
leave
change.
his mark.
Yeah.
And that's why I felt like that scene when he was at the FDR memorial was really touching, and that was like that made a lot of sense. Like, and he was like, there's a wall between her and I, or between Eleanor Roosevelt and FDR.
Yeah.
You know, they were off on different sides, and that just shows like the difference between the president, like the president and the first lady have to have their separate areas. I don't know, but they were both significant people. Maybe he wasn't allowing Claire to be a significant person, but Petrov kind of put him in that situation. Maybe Petrov is his sensei. Like
A little bit, and I mean, you did say that. Like, what if he is the man who's gonna teach Frank how to really
like
get a
not
hold on shit?
and I'm not saying like there's gonna be a scene where like he's like, let me teach you, you know. I think that he's
Yeah.
like Frank, they're both ruthless, as Petrov says in the bunker. That's a big scene in the bunker. You know, we're both ruthless. Have you ever killed a man? Because I think you could. You know, and he's like looking at him, and that just goes to show like maybe Frank will get to that level where Petrov is at. You know, Petrov
Okay,
has outwitted him.
what
He's
were-
on another level than Frank, man.
Are you familiar with Pussy Riot? They were in the show.
They're a real thing.
Yeah,
And
you didn't know that?
The one thing that kind of like weirded me out is that they had that very end segment where they were like jamming out, which was cool.
It
But I
was
was like, this
awesome.
is so not House of Cards.
That's why I'm saying this season had a lot more laughs than I expected.
Yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised.
Because it was House of Cards, I wasn't laughing though. I was like watching it and I was like, okay, what the? It kind of like made me uncomfortable, but.
I can see that.
No. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the whole season. I just didn't enjoy Claire, and like towards the very end, you know, in which they left on that note, like I'm leaving you,
Yeah.
and he's like Claire, you know, and it's just like, okay, well, what's gonna happen? I feel like it was too, and a lot of people agree, it was too soap opera-ish. It was too like melodramatic.
No one expected that. I thought Claire was gonna fucking get her shit together and be like, "All right, Francis, let's go." You know?
If what they're doing is picking apart the characters during this season and like bringing them down a notch though, so that the next season they can bring them back up, it'll all be worthwhile. But I've waited 11 months to watch this season, and it wasn't as gratifying as I had hoped.
I fully agree. Before
I hate Yates,
we move on,
by the
because
way.
we've been on this for a while. Yates,
I hate him.
autobiographer, or the biographer, I should
Right.
say. People have talked about what if that was their plan, to have a character like that come in all along, because House of Cards are all numbered chapters, right? An episode is chapter this, chapter
So there's
that.
going to only be a fourth season, and it's going to end at 52 because there's only 52 cards.
No, that's another theory. This theory is that this guy, the biographer, whatever, he's writing this book, right? And they're all going to be the chapters of his actual book, and he's going to end up putting it out and like destroying Frank.
Oh, he's not going to destroy Frank. Like, I don't think that a book like that would destroy Frank. Frank, like, nothing can destroy Frank, I feel like. You
Well,
know,
he
when it
didn't
comes,
learn everything either.
No, and Frank was very careful about what he told him to, even when he was drunk.
Yeah.
He let loose more than with anyone else, but he was still pretty careful.
I feel like there's a lot of sexual tension between them.
That was gross. I'm sorry, and like I don't have anything against it, but it just made me really uncomfortable during that scene. Like it was like,
well, we've already learned that the character.
Yeah,
Frank
but I was
Underwood is
less-
somewhat pansexual.
no, he's bisexual.
Yeah.
But I was less. What does that mean? He has sex with animals? Like I was less. Well, I was more comfortable when I was watching the other scene when he was at like school.
Yeah.
With his other friend. Ted or whatever.
Yeah.
Or Tim. And but this other one was like he was like, are we friends? And they were talking about how this guy used to like prostitute himself, and
Yeah.
and it was like, and he was like, we are if you want to be. And I just don't really get this character Tom. Like, is he full of shit or not? I still don't even know. You know, because
I can see where you're coming from. That with like, he's an interesting character in my opinion.
he is interesting.
It brought
he's
a
a
different
stranger.
dynamic to this. Yeah, and
Claire says that.
but yeah,
He's
that
a
kind of
stranger.
pissed me off too, though. When Claire's like getting all pissy about it, it's like go back to bed, Claire. Come on.
Yeah, but you know, Claire had a lot of reasons to be pissed off, but she can't leave that relationship.
But then
has
she
nothing.
spills the beans to the guy that forces him to set, like, it sets him on his path. You know,
spills the beans to what? What do you mean?
when she's giving blood. Everything she told him there is what led to him rewriting the book and starting with that first chapter. And when Frank read that, that's when he was like, all right, no more.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, he legitimately thought that it was going to be good, though. And even, like, the reporter that he was dating was like,
was good. It was just too real. That was the problem. You
Right.
can't put something that real out about the president, because
But it also marred their relationship, too.
Yeah.
It said, like a man that married his wife and was ashamed, and, like, ashamed to wear a ring, and that doesn't look good to anybody. Like, when you're reading that, you're like, okay, they don't really love each other.
Exactly.
You
Well, they
know?
don't. I feel
like they do, though. But
Frank
it's
did.
unconventional.
Like in the first season when Frank's like, I love that woman. I love her like a shark loves blood. And
Right.
it seems real. It seems like he really does love her. And those scenes before he becomes president, like when she'll come home or he'll come home and they'll share a cigarette, you know? It's like a really close relationship.
And also, did you notice they don't share cigarettes in this season? They
have.
they did once, I think.
No, quite a few times.
But the cigarettes there's a lot of stuff to look into House of Cards, which is really like, you can look into all these pieces, but Frank is like, there's one scene that sticks out to me in particular where he tells her that he brought Doug in as his chief of staff, and he's sitting there smoking a cigarette, but it's by himself. She doesn't partake. They don't partake in each other's things anymore. Like when he's making a sandwich, he makes a peanut butter and jelly. No, I'm not hungry. You know, but what does she do? She makes eggs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I thought that was an analogy to, or a metaphor for her being pregnant because they had just fucked. But there was a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense to me in this season.
But isn't she pregnant?
Is she?
Okay, I'm God, I may have to go watch the season again, which pisses me off. But I remember reading in one of the post-episode discussions on Reddit about her having another abortion.
Recently.
Or she's going through menopause. That's what they were talking about.
She's going through menopause because she's standing in front of the refrigerator and
yeah.
she's having a hot flash and she's freaking out. And you know what? Maybe that's what this comes down to. She's like, I'm leaving you, and she's going through fucking menopause. But she's nothing without Frank. It's true. And he has manipulated her and worked her to the extent.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just that he's manipulated her though. They're both equally bad people.
If she would have just stayed on, man, she could become the president in 14 years.
No, not even 14 years. It would be.
Frank would serve another 2 terms.
Really?
Yeah, because he was never elected. He can still get elected twice.
Really?
Yeah.
So he would be a president that's in office for like 10 years.
Yeah.
Or no, it would be 9.5 years.
9.5.
Oh,
yeah.
no shit. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay, so then it would... Yeah, okay. But I mean, still... it's like there's only one chair in this office, and she could have that chair if she just holds on. Yeah. So what the fuck?
But she did, she fucked up. She dropped the ball with her job at the UN.
She wasn't prepared for that in the first
and she
place.
got played by the Russian guy, and it forced him
But
to
did
make
she?
that yes.
Oh, yeah, no. She got played. Yeah, she got played by Baryshnikov or whatever.
Baryshnikov.
Whatever.
His name is Mugayev, dude.
Really?
Yeah, it was Mugayev.
Who's Baryshnikov? That's like a Russian
That's
composer.
just a common Russian name.
Okay. But Petrov, and then why would Petrov tell Frank about that, though? That's another thing. Like, Petrov could have easily just let that go. Like, he could have just been like, get rid of your wife and we'll let the deal go through. But
because I don't think Frank would have done it.
He had to poison the well, though.
Yeah.
No, Frank would have done it because he wanted that so badly.
But I think the real trigger was him knowing that she fucked up like that. Because that is a major fuck up, dude.
But she had fucked up several times throughout the season.
But if she hadn't have fucked up like that, he wouldn't have even been at that bunker. You know what I'm saying?
If she hadn't have... Okay, and what about the gay rights activist? If she hadn't have gone and spoken her fucking mind, and he deserved this, and Frank was like, he didn't deserve shit. He's a small cog in our huge machine.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is something that you and I have been working at for 30 fucking years to try and do, and you're gonna let this one guy just break it all down. And she's like, he's braver than you'll ever be. And that moment when she said that, I was like, oh, damn,
And then she's like, I made you president.
Which really isn't true either. Like, she played a part.
She played a large part.
But yeah, I mean, Frank did a lot of the dirty work. Okay, what about Remy?
Oh man.
Let's talk about Remy really quick.
What about him?
So Frank was betrayed by a lot of people.
Yeah.
In this season, and what I would really like to see is for Frank to come back in the next season and just crush everybody. I'd like to see Remy get crushed because Frank gave him an opportunity. But
Remy got out, man. I like Remy because he was ruthless too, but he
had a conscience.
Not just that, man. He wanted to be respected, and when Frank became the president, he started to respect his people less and less. And you could see it. And what really shows it is when Freddie, the guy who owned the rib store, shows how much he never even cared for Frank. He hates him. But he says something along the lines of, you can't blame a snake for having fangs.
Yeah.
Freddie hated him, but he still allowed him to come in and talk to him. And Freddie led the president to believe he was friends with him, when in reality, Freddie hates him.
Freddie's kind of a cunt, though.
Why?
Because, dude, Frank did put himself out there to give Freddie a job, and it's better paying than where he was at before. And Frank has put himself out there to help Freddie. Frank got Freddie some really good press when he was eating there.
But that's what ended him. That press is what led to people coming after him in the first place, and him losing his business.
But he made some money off that too. I mean, it was in good faith. Freddie is to Frank, Freddie is one of the people that matters. There are very few people in Frank's circle, I feel. I don't know. And Remy is now fucking that woman again, who's in a relationship now. What's her name?
Jackie Sharp.
Jackie, yeah. And she fucked over Frank too. Judas Bish.
And Seth is like, oh, sorry, I didn't mean it.
but I mean, dude, she really like. There was just a lot of flip flopping as far as that goes, and I would have
Frank
liked.
fucked her over too.
Yeah, well, Frank.
When he's like, you're gonna be my bulldog, and then he goes after her for the thing.
Yeah, but he told her. He said, "You're gonna get bloody."
Yeah, but
He
that
said,
was
"You're gonna
more
get,
than
he
she expected.
He undersold it. Yeah, but
Yeah.
but she doesn't even care about those fucking kids. That's the thing. Why would she be fucking Remy if she did give a damn? You know,
I think she does care about those kids, but she does talk about it later. She was like, the only reason I even got married was so I could be a married woman with kids when I am running in this election.
Right.
You know?
She wants Remy.
Yeah.
Obviously. She's like, it's not like this. It's not like the love that you just dropped everything, you know? So I don't know.
Well, oh shit. Are we ready?
Michelle Rodriguez?
Are we done to stop talking about House of Cards today?
Yeah, that's fine. I don't
mean,
know, but I
okay.
do recommend watching the third season if you've watched the other two.
Well, chances are, if you haven't seen the third season, you tuned out when we mentioned spoilers. And you're coming back now. Welcome back.
No one's coming back now.
So, real quick, it's really late. We've been going for quite a while. I had a lot of other shit that we just didn't even get to. I watched the whole first season of Silicon Valley. I'll talk about that next week. I watched the first 4 episodes of Better Call Saul. I'll also talk about that next week.
What should I also watch these?
You should watch Better Call Saul if you want.
Should I watch Silicon Valley?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay.
I watched the first season of Helix as well as the first episode of the second season. I'll talk about that next week. And real quick, Mortal Kombat X, we've mentioned, comes out next month. They've announced who their license character is going to be. They've had Freddy versus Jason before and like some other cool
really?
things. In this one, it's going to be Spawn.
Oh, that's cool.
It's fucking sick. So Spawn is going to be the playable licensed character in Mortal Kombat X.
That's interesting. I heard something interesting about Mortal Kombat. So the original Mortal Kombat in like Sweden, when they made it, it was like too mature or whatever, or they wouldn't put it out, and it was for a weird reason. It wasn't the blood or the gore. It was because they wanted only Christian music to be in it. So
Sweden?
Yeah, I think it was in Sweden. Don't quote me on that, but it was in some place in Europe. So they changed all the music to Christian music, and they
That's
have Mortal
amazing.
Kombat with Christian music.
Wait, can we get a copy of that one?
I don't know. If you know anything about this, listeners at home or viewers at home, send us a copy or just give us some information. Tweet at the Macrocast.
Wait, no, hold on. A couple other video game news tidbits.
Oh no, Macro Records. Sorry.
Darksiders 2.
Oh, what?
So, Darksiders 2 Definitive Edition is confirmed for Xbox One and PS4. It's getting a remastered re-release. The first and second Darksiders, I believe.
I liked that game a lot.
Yeah, I figured you would like this little tidbit of news.
I used to play that a lot. Actually, that was like the first fighting game that I really, really got into.
So, there's no release date. Just expect.
Will there be any
coming soon.
story to it?
No, it's going to be the same games, just fully remastered for the new consoles.
I want to see some story because those characters are kick-ass, dude.
And lastly, I've been playing a lot of Evolve lately.
You love it.
It's really good.
You love Evolve.
It's a really
Have you
polished multiplayer experience. I was pleasantly surprised how refined this game is.
What is the other game that is kind of that, or it's like Left 4 Dead?
Evolve.
No. Is it Evolve?
Evolve is like Left 4 Dead.
No, it's a zombie game.
It's made by the same people. You're talking about
it's not
Dying
Evolve.
Light.
Dying Light, yep. That's
So
what I'm thinking
Dying
about.
Light is a first-person parkour action zombie survival game.
And I heard that there's a really solid. Watch Out Loud said there's a great storyline to that.
It's supposed to be a really good game. A lot of people's problems with it are based off the first-person parkour system. Because normally when you're doing parkour-like moves in a video game, you're in third person. And when you can't see your character's feet, it makes it
disorienting.
seem weird. Yeah, okay. It can make you nauseous or I don't know.
I could imagine that.
Yeah,
and the Order is supposed to be really bad too.
The Order 1886. I don't think it's bad, man. I think
it got bad reviews.
It's being defended by PS4 fanboys. That is for sure.
Is it only on PS4?
Yes, it's an exclusive.
Okay.
The problem most people have with it is it's too short, and I don't even feel like that's a fair complaint, because if you're going to complain about how short the game is, that's just, that's not really something to complain about. You need to play the game and evaluate it on its merits, and length
isn't something that you can really.
It's not a factor.
as long
most
as there's
people-
a good storyline.
Yeah. Well, okay. So a lot of people have said it's unbelievably gorgeous. The graphics are amazing.
So it's worth playing.
The gameplay is,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's subpar.
and a lot of the game is QTEs and cutscenes.
So it's a story. There's a lot of story to it then.
Yeah. Basically, they've described, like, the people who made it said it's supposed to be like a cinematic experience.
Okay, and back
I'd
to
play it.
Back to TV shows. One thing I am going to start watching, which you'll be pleased to know, is Penny Dreadful.
Yes, you should.
I'm gonna. And
The
have you
second season's
heard
gonna
anything
start
about that
soon.
show, Dig?
No, it's going to start in a couple weeks.
Oh, it hasn't started yet.
Yeah.
I saw a preview for another show. I can't remember the name, but it was about some girl who died and she came back to life. And it's a bunch of weird shit happens around her or whatever, and it
No
just
idea.
looks really, really well made.
We'll have to find out.
Yeah, there's a lot of. It seems like I don't know if it's me going to the actual movies and having the movie experience because I hadn't done that in a while, but I feel like a lot of fucking good movies are going to come out.
Yeah. I can't. I mean, the one I'm most excited for is Age of Ultron.
That's like a blockbuster film though.
Yeah, you're talking about lower budget films.
Well, no, not even lower budget, but
just like not AAA.
I just think like not like Age of Ultron, which is going to cost like $250 million to make.
Yeah.
There's this movie Woman in Gold that I had briefly mentioned to you, where with Helen Mirren and Ryan Reynolds. And it talks about Maria Altman, and she's a Holocaust survivor who lived in Los Angeles with her not with her lawyer, but she teams up with her lawyer to fight the government of Austria to reclaim an iconic painting of her aunt, the portrait of Adele Bloch-Bauer by Gustav Klimt, which the Nazis took away in Vienna. And it looks like this is going to be an Oscar-winning film.
Cool.
The way that it's put together. It's made by BBC Films and the Weinstein Company, and you know they make some good
wow.
stuff.
So yeah,
Directed by Simon Curtis, and I have no idea what his credits are.
that'll probably be pretty good.
This is the only thing that he's directed. But I don't know, the preview looked fantastic. Helen Mirren is badass, and Ryan Reynolds, I think this is going to be one of the I think that guy is really trying for an Oscar and trying to redeem himself.
Yeah.
And we're going to see Deadpool come soon, which I'm excited for. Hopefully Fox does not fuck that up.
I hope they don't either.
They're going for PG-13 with that, right?
Yeah.
Oh man. How can you do PG-13 Deadpool though?
I mean, it's gonna have generous amounts of side boob and not like
Generous amounts of side boob.
That's how you stay PG-13.
Yeah.
You can't show nipple.
And there's going to be like no cursing, but hopefully there's quite a bit of blood and gore. I mean, Deadpool's all about gore and like funny, you know.
And Deadpool doesn't
Lighthearted
have to
gore.
curse to be funny.
No, he doesn't curse at all though, does he?
Nah, he's witty and he says like insulting things to people that are funny.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see that. But
Me
anyway,
too.
I'm so sorry for carrying this on for so long.
Plugs.
That's our show.
Yeah.
I'm Downlow'd. You can find more information about me at www.iamdownload.com. That's DOWNLOWD. Or look me up on Facebook, facebook.com/officialdownload. Tweet me at Download here. And also, South by Southwest is coming up. I'm going to be out there. There's going to be a couple of Macro Records parties. Alex won't be there, but I will be there. If you want to come out, say hello. And Alex will tell you more about Macro Records right now.
If you want to tweet at the show, use @Macro Records. We'll take anything. Tweet us anything. Literally anything. And use hashtag the Macrocast or hashtag AshSnoo if you want to ask Snoo a question. We didn't even get to talk to Snoo.
We
this
never
week.
got to ask Snoo this week.
It's okay. Snoo will be back next week, hopefully. If we don't
I'm picking like
guests.
creatures out of his hair.
Go to our website, thisismacro.com. It's the hub for all things macro. Our blog, podcast, Let's Plays, everything we do is there. Go check it out. And that's our show. Thanks for listening.
Or watching.
Yep.
And if you've listened to our show on iTunes, by the way, make sure to go leave a review.
Yes.
We would really, really, really appreciate that. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to upvote if you like the show, or leave a comment, share with your friends, all that good stuff. It would be massively appreciated. Whatever gets the name out. You know.
Thanks for listening.